Hello and welcome to the Profit Project interview series, where today we're going to be talking about growth generation within businesses. And today I'm super excited to have an awesome business owner working in the social media space by the name of Jade Allerby from Focus SME. Welcome, Jade.
Hi, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you on board and on this discussion today. Obviously, we've known each other for a while now, and I know there's so many cool things that you do in your business and with your clients around generating growth and revenue and sales and those sorts of things. So we are definitely going to delve into those a little bit later, but I always love to get an understanding of why do you do what you do? How did you start in the first place in starting up your own business?
Cool. Thanks for asking. So I've always wanted to start my own business. I think since I was about 18, I had a goal that I wanted to run my own business, but I wasn't sure what it would be. I've been working in marketing, communications, and events for the past 14 years, and social media was always an element of that. But it wasn't until about 2 years ago I went traveling on an 8-month trip around South America. And it wasn't until towards the end of that when I actually decided that I was going to start my business in social media and digital marketing. And one of the reasons was because it's an area that I really enjoy. It's definitely an area of growth. It's not going anywhere. And it's something that I can do from anywhere because I do love to travel. I really wanted to build a business that would enable me to continue to do that. So it's something that I could also do online as well. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And I know when we had one of our very first chats, the story of travel and this idea of, resonated as well, because I know I love to travel and we actually spend a chunk of time talking about that. But I guess this ability to be able to build a business that, can still do those sort of activities and create that sort of lifestyle business was something that was, high on your radar at the time, and obviously has continued to do so. And I'm guessing you've probably got a few clients in that space as well. Would I be right in saying that?
Surprisingly, no, not in the travel space. It is a super competitive industry and it's very well serviced by social media managers. But I do have clients around the world. I've got a couple in Japan and then in Australia. So yeah, that is kind of nice.
I think that still covers the travel part of it because now you also can have that lifestyle where you can go and visit your clients as a part of a travel adventure and all those sorts of things because that's the way you set your business up to be able to do that, which is pretty cool. But that's also the nice rosy side of business and obviously the plan to achieve those things. But as you've started out in business, I'm sort of curious, what sort of challenges have you faced personally?
So I guess like learning to run a business was a challenge in itself. Despite studying business management and doing a degree in business marketing, nothing really prepares you like real life experience. So I've got a lot of experience in marketing and my field, but running a business is a whole different ball game. And there's things like pricing, finances, building a team, recruitment, promoting yourself, and really trying to find a work-life balance, which is all really new. And especially in the beginning, a work-life balance is virtually not existent, but trying to get there now. But yeah, learning a lot as I go in terms of how to run a business. But it's been great to surround myself with people like yourself and other people in my network that have been able to help me get through some of those challenges.
Yeah, I think they're very common ones for all of us. I know they're echoing a number of mine as well. But I guess then also probably more specifically to your clients now as well, people that have come to you to get help with their social media and side of things. What do you find some of their challenges are in their businesses?
So I guess they've got some similar challenges. One of the big ones is a lack of time to work on the business as well as in the business. So sometimes they might want to be active on social media, but they just don't have the time to dedicate to it, as well as trying to find their tribe, if you will, and trying to build relationships with those people. which will ultimately result in sales. I guess that's one of the challenges, trying to figure out how to communicate with those people, when to communicate, where to find them, things like that. So I think struggling to know how to use social media effectively to try and grow their business.
Yeah, so I'm really curious around that part. Obviously, this is an interview that's geared around getting that growth, and obviously the social world is just, there's a whole lot of content out there, and it's an area where people know that there's opportunity to grow your business through social media. What are some of the things that you sort of implement with clients and work through to be able to help sort of use the social platform to be able to help achieve that growth?
So first, I always start with my clients with a strategy, really trying to understand what they're trying to achieve and who their target audience is. And then once we kind of understand that, then I can help them put together a strategy on how to reach those people. So one of the first things that I try to teach my clients is to stop focusing on talking at your clients. Social media is a conversation. So you need to understand your audience and what they're interested in, so you can start building a relationship with them and trying to build that rapport, because the sales are going to be built on trust in majority of industries. So really trying to build that through social media. And the second is, I guess, the importance of a content plan on social media. So a lot of people don't understand that you shouldn't be out there just to be promoting your product. Like, I often use the analogy that social media is kind of like a big party. You don't want to be that person in the room that nobody wants to talk to because you just talk about yourself the whole time. You want to be somebody there that's interested in knowing about them and providing them with value. So always trying to lead with value and give people a reason to want to follow your page. They're not going to come back to your page if you're just talking about yourself the whole time. And just trying to build that trust factor that I mentioned before as well. So people also really want to know the business behind the brand. And so you can use social media really to demonstrate your values, what you stand for, what you believe in, because people, when they're doing a lot of research, they like to connect with companies that they can relate to, that they can trust. So really leveraging social media to demonstrate those things. And then once you kind of got your content and things in place, the third is how you can really leverage that content to maximize the effectiveness, and how you can use each platform uniquely to reach people. So yeah, they're probably the three things that I kind of teach my clients as we go. You need to have different content and different formats for each platform, and you need to be leading with value, and you really need to be building relationships.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm going to encourage anybody that needs some ideas and guidance around social media to come back to that sort of last 4 to 5 minutes, because I think you've summed it up so well. And there's so much quality information that I try to sort of take a few little notes there, and I'm sitting there going, wow, there's so many points just from that short little section. But I'll touch on a couple of those, and I know we've had many conversations as well, but having the plan and the structure around that. I'm a big believer in a plan that obviously guides you a lot of things. What can a plan look like from a social media perspective? Even just like, obviously, I know we're delving into a bit of detail there. We don't necessarily go into a whole detail, but just a couple of points around how people can picture a social media plan.
Sure. Well, the first thing, like one of the key things with social media is consistency. So working out how many times a week you're going to be able to commit to posting on social media. So say it's like 3, maybe 4, 5 times a week. Work out which days that you want to be posting, and then put together, it can just be a simple little Google spreadsheet, and what you're going to post on each of those days. So to help you stay consistent, I like to say, for example, Monday, I might share a blog post. Tuesday, it might be something motivational. Wednesday, it might be a tip. Thursday, it might be a quote or something like that. And having those kind of broad topics will help you when you're trying to come up with content. So you don't have to think about, oh, what am I going to post today? You know that this on Mondays, you're going to post a blog article. Tuesday, you're going to get quotes. And then you can kind of batch trying to source content as well. You can find a whole bunch of quotes relevant to a particular topic and then spread them out. Or if you've got a blog post, maybe you can share it one week with a particular headline. The next week it can be a different one. You don't have to use, if you've invested time to create content, your own content, like articles and videos, you don't want to just post that once. You want to post it as many times as you can in different ways. So I recommend just starting with a simple spreadsheet, putting in some topics to help you stay consistent, and then trying to batch create things. You could even schedule out a whole month in advance.
Yeah, that's an awesome tip. And I know I've implemented some of those things myself. And as you'll go over there's a nice content plan up on the wall there. And yeah, it's made a massive change compared to where I was when I first started in the social media space. That's great. And the other one that I really wanted to touch upon was, I'm a firm believer in that people buy people. So I love that, the concept of building relations and relationships and the like through social media, which can be difficult at times and the like. But I know you've talked about one of your clients, how, they do a behind the scenes kind of video series, and it's the interviewing the employees and those sorts of things. And, I'd love you to elaborate a little bit more on that one, as to the kind of engagement that people get off the back of that type of behind the scenes kind of material.
Yeah, well, actually that's not in place yet. We're trying to work on a plan for that at the moment, but definitely trying to leverage your employees and employee advocacy, because they're often your biggest advocates. And particularly in the B2B space or businesses on LinkedIn, you really want to leverage your employees and their networks as well. So by featuring them in content, it makes them proud to share it. And also you'll get access to their network and stuff as well. So definitely, like you said, people connect with people. So one thing that we are doing with that client actually is doing little meet the team posts. So it will be like a little written interview series where we ask a few fun questions. It can be stuff about what they enjoy working with the business, but also what their interests are. And then we'll create a nice little graphic and share that like once a week or once a fortnight. And that's some of the posts that get the highest engagement. Actually, any kind of post that I've done for clients where it's behind the scenes is the highest engagement out of everything, because people are on social media to be social. They want to see real people. So really trying to show that always works.
Yeah, awesome. That's a great little idea for somebody watching this to be able to say, hey, what's got the most engagement and sort of feedback is those kind of content. So that's awesome. Also, then moving on, interested around, once people have been working with you or implementing a social calendar, social plan and structure, what sort of outcomes and benefits do you often see that they have, or as a result of implementing a social media plan?
So it really depends so the value that they receive depends on what their goals were in the first place. So it will really differ depending on the client. Some, it might be more sales, some it might be higher engagement, others it might be greater brand awareness. So we'd really try and create their strategy to focus on those goals. And that's like for that example that I just referred to about the behind the scenes, that client really wanted to increase engagement with its employees, but also increase engagement on the page and things like that, which that has done. Whereas other clients might be more interested in generating sales. And we can put a strategy and plan for that as well. That you might also find that you need to spend some money on advertising to try and build that up a bit quicker. But you might want to be creating content around the value that you can provide, and that's where you really want to be trying to lead with value as well, particularly if you're trying to get people to output money.
Yeah, for sure. Some great sort of little benefits that people can see there. And as you say, though, it's all tied to what's the initial strategy, what's the plan, what's the idea, and then you're sort of coming back to that as to what are the outcomes that come back to that. So that's yeah, great insight, and that sort of dovetails nicely onto. I always like to ask around, this interview series is kind of around growth generators and generating growth, and sort of combining that with, return on investment. What do those sort of two phrases, terms sort of mean to you in business? Generating growth and generating a return on investment for people.
I guess it's really, return on investment to me really means ensuring that you're receiving value from your investment, whatever that looks like, whether that be sales or just trying to increase your page or your following or your brand awareness. Yeah, for me, I'm trying to grow my business. So for me, it's all around trying to build that reputation and build that brand awareness, and then the sales leads will follow. But yeah, I think that's what it means to me.
Awesome. Cool. In such a short space of time, we've covered a lot of ground, and you provided, as I've said before, even that sort of 5-minute frame that I picked out earlier, but even, concept, we've got a number of great ideas and tips around generating growth and thoughts around social media. If you were to sort of refine that back down to even more concise idea, what's sort of the one or two things, I'll give a couple there about, ideas and tips that you would have for somebody listening to this around growing their business?
Well, if I was going to relate it back to social media, my number one tip would be to start with the strategy. You can waste a lot of time and effort on just kind of posting aimlessly and then wondering why you're not really getting anywhere. So I think really taking the time to sit down and think about what you want to achieve, and then think about how you can add value to your audience, will help you get there. In terms of kind of growing a business as well, one of the things that I've found really beneficial, and it doesn't relate to social media per se, is just joining a networking group and just trying to surround myself with mentors and other business professionals who I can ask for advice, and people that can help guide me through areas that are new to me, and really being able to help each other, because I can at least try and add value to them in areas that they're not an expert in, and vice versa. So they're probably my number 2 tips for growing business.
Yeah, that's awesome, Jade. And, I'm a big believer in both of those as well. And the reality is we may not have been on this, having this interview if it wasn't for networking events and networking groups, because obviously that's how we cross paths and, brought great relationships, business relationships that have come out from that. I know I've learned plenty from you, and that's been, super beneficial for my business. So really appreciate you sharing those couple of tips. So there we have it. A great sort of interview in depth on, generating growth within businesses. So again, if you want to follow more of these videos in future, feel free to continue to follow us at theprofitproject.com.au. But also, if you want to be able to follow Jade and her business, Focus SME, Jade, if you want to give a bit of a plug, where can people find information about you and your business?
Sure. Well, you can connect with me on LinkedIn personally. You can find me. My name's Jade Allerby. I'm the only one on LinkedIn with that name. So you can connect with me there. You can also connect with my business pages, Focus SME, on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Awesome. And naturally, we'll show those contact details and the appropriate links in the show notes as we follow it here. So until next time, everybody, thank you once again. I'm getting all mixed up here at the end, but thank you for jumping on the call today, Jade. Really appreciate it with the knowledge that you've shared today. So thank you very much for that.
Thanks for having me, Craig, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, and as I said, I'll wrap it up without my mumbo jumbo that I just did there before. If you want to keep on following awesome, great content like this, continue to follow us at theprofitproject.com.au. Till next time, bye.